But yeah, these, the more I walk in them, the more they've got a Baya feel to them. So I'm curious, I'm wondering if they took like the Baya lower and worked with that, and then added this this textile upper. That's what it feels like. All right, let's dive right in. Good day to you. Oh, I hope you were doing well. I have a bit of a sinus congestion going on, so forgive me if I feel, or if I sound a little congested. I feel a little congested. My brain's a little foggy today. The weather is starting to shift. It is a little cooler out today, and it is rainy. We are in the middle of the month of August. School starts back up in like a week. Summer has almost come to a close, and the weather is reflecting it, unfortunately. But you know what? I don't mind fall. Summer's my favorite. I love summer, but I kind of dig fall. Just for the change of the seasons, you know. Summer's really nice, but I lived in Florida before. Oh, sorry. These are, I'm getting way off topic. I'm not even focused. We got us a Croc here. We got us a new pair of Crocs here. But anyways, I lived in Florida, and summer can be very long down there. So I enjoy the changing of the seasons in the north, but with it comes sinus issues for me. All right, back to the matter at hand. This is a brand new model. We picked up the classic crafted clog from Crocs, as you can see by the bag. I just ordered these over the weekend, and they have arrived already. I actually ordered them last Thursday. On our way up to the UP, I just went up to the UP this weekend. I took a couple of videos, but I ordered this on the car ride, and they just arrived today. I was wondering what I was going to review today. I had a couple comparison videos I need to do still. But these came, so I figured we would do these instead. So I have it pulled up on the website. Whoops, did I trip over cords? I have it pulled up on the website. We will read the sales pitch real quick, and then we will check them out. So these remind me a lot of the Museum of Peace and Quiet clog, which I will show you guys in a moment, and we will compare them to them because they're doing some similar things, and I kind of like them for that. So before we dive in, let's go read the sales pitch. Follow me. Okay. Forgive me if I sound a little groggy. I'm still in the process of waking up. When it's overcast like this, it takes me a little while to get going. Something to be said about the energizing effect of the sunshine. And when it's not there, the energy is not there for me, at least. And I've consumed lots of caffeine already, and it just isn't doing anything. I drank lots of pre-workout and some Dr. Pepper, and I'm still kind of groggy, but I digress. Classic Crafted Clog. Let me get a little better centered for my window. That should be okay. Okay. This just came out like a couple weeks ago, if not last week. I remember seeing them. They like to tease. They'll throw them up in the store or in the app like a week or two before, but you can't purchase them. They're just there. So I saw these a little while ago, and made a point to acquire them. Like I mentioned, they're very akin to the Museum of Peace and Quiet clog, which are an actually really nice premium Croc, and I don't wear them because I'm afraid of getting them dirty and ruining them, because I had to buy those off of the resale market. I had to buy those on StockX because they are no longer available. So those kind of are a collector's item at this point in time. So it's nice that Crocs is kind of doing something akin to them that I won't be afraid to wear and ruin. So with that prelude. I'll show some footage of the other colors that they've got going on here. They have a black sand, which is pretty nice. I almost got the black sand. It's kind of a graphite color. It's actually very nice looking. It's more of like a gray than it is a black. So we were pretty close to getting that one. And then they've got the stucco, which is also very nice looking. It reminds me of that moth colorway that I have several Crocs in. But we ended up with the Aloe, which is kind of a nice green, and those are very similar to the Museum of Peace and Quiet colorway that I have, which I'll show you. That's kind of why I settled on the Aloe as opposed to the black sand. But then they also have a pink caramel, or caramel, however you pronounce that word, which actually isn't terrible looking. It's kind of a pale salmon color. It doesn't really give off a pink vibe. Sorry. So it appears that the sizing is limited. So maybe order sooner than later. I don't know how stocked Crocs is going to keep this model. I noticed they do that with some models. Some models they keep stocked, others they don't. So whatever. All right. Product details. Classic Crafted Clog. Meet your favorite clog, the Classic Crafted Clog. Offering all that you love about Crocs Clogs. Now with a soft, washed canvas upper that is 100% textile. You'll still enjoy the same classic clog fit and features, including a cross-light outsole for durability and support. And the new canvas upper provides a stylish and youthful energy, along with added comfort. It's also a great palette to express yourself with markers, showing off your DIY spirit. Plus, the jibbitz holes on the heel straps makes it easy to personalize your look even more. Excuse me. For a fresh and inspired take on the Crocs comfort and style you love, step into the Classic Crafted Clog. Hang on, I gotta blow my nose real quick. Hi, I apparently forgot to hit play when I came back from blowing my nose. I was just editing this footage. So let me finish reading this real quick. I managed to record everything else. It's just this little, excuse me, tail end of the description. I just finished reading. It's also a great palette to express yourself with markers, showing off your DIY spirit. Plus the gibbet holes on the heel strap makes it easy to personalize your look even more. For a fresh and inspired take on the Crocs comfort and style you love, step into the Classic Crafted Clog. The deets, incredibly light and fun to wear. Soft, washed canvas upper that is 100% textile. Cross-light outsole for durability and support. Pivoting heel strap for a more secure fit. Customizable with jibbitz charms on heel strap. Iconic Crocs comfort, lightweight, flexible, 360-degree comfort. Shoes can be briefly soaked, lightly brushed, or air-dried for cleaning. Avoid harsh detergents, dry in a ventilated, cool location. All right, and then I remember going on some tangent about 360-degree comfort, like what is that? And then I got on some other tangent about the Chinese Communist Party, which I won't go into. So, that's it. And now on to the footage that I did manage to record. So, back to you. The Crocs Crafted Clog I meant, not the Classic Clog. All right. So these are pretty clean looking. I do dig them. Let's take this off immediately. I need to get on like a Chinese ladies dating app or something. I don't know. All right, we won't talk about Chinese women again this whole video. I did that enough. What video was that? That was the Merrill Hut wrap. That was a story video. So anyways, Crocs Crafted Clog. Let me raise this up a little bit so I can pick it up. So I kind of like this this aloe color. It's very nice, kind of like an army green, like a drab, olive drab. I dig it. That that black sand colorway was really good looking too, though. But I kind of like this this olive drab, this aloe colorway a little more. So at a glance, our heel strap is kind of nice and fitting. It doesn't come too far forward, like the in-motion clog that pulls our foot about a ½ inch forward. These have a very deep heel cup. Do you notice that? Look how deep that heel cup is. I don't think that's where's my? Let me get my oranges. I don't recall it being that deep. The orange. The orange. Yeah. Excuse me. It is a little deeper. It feels a little deeper. Not a whole lot. A little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right, so we can see this upper, where that line is, that little upper, like 1/8 of an inch, is not there on the oranges. Let me see if I can get them close enough. So we've got our dots here, and then we've got this little section here, which already is a little bigger. It's maybe a 1/16 of an inch larger on these crafted than it is on the classics. And then we've got a little section here that's maybe 1/4 of an inch. Maybe 1/3 of an inch right there. And then there's the seam, the mold seam that goes through the very top of it. So there's that same little section there, but it's a little more minimal. It's a little shorter than it is on here. But then above that, we've got another little 1/4 inch right there, which isn't on here. So the heel cup is ever so slightly deeper on these crafted clogs than they are on the classic clogs. I need to clean these. I got dirt in them. So you can't go wrong with the classics though, bro. You cannot go wrong with the classics. Maybe we'll do a comparison between these two. My comparison vids do pretty good. So then we've got a little bit of a, I like that canvas strap on the back with the Crocs logo. That's a nice little touch there. It's sewn in to the crosslight. The entire lower is all crosslight. There's a little bit of a texture on the bottom. I don't know if you see that, if it's coming through. Maybe if I get in focus. A little bit of a fuzzy texture on the bottom, kind of like the puff mock. The puff mock has a little bit of a texture on the bottom. It's kind of the same thing. It's starting to wear off a little bit on here, but you can see that little fur texture in the center here. It's kind of worn off a little, but it's on here too. You can kind of see it. A little bit of a fur texture, but it just goes. It's not on the whole footbed. It's like right here. You can see up through right here. And then it's on the toe again. That's interesting. I wonder if that's like a spray. If it's like a, yeah, that's really weird. Because right here under the immediate forefoot, where the ball of your foot is, it is not there. And it is not on the heel. So it's like where your main points of contact are, that little fuzz isn't there. That's very peculiar. I'm curious on the application of that and what it is and why. Why, Crocs, why? So, as you can see, I went with my standard 12. These have a traditional classic Croc outsole to them, aside from that little fuzz addition. Let me see if I can get this a little closer. My lights don't feel balanced. That's a little too much. I'm getting a lot. Maybe if I turn this a little warmer. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Maybe if we turn it down a little bit. All right. Let me raise this up a little bit. Okay. All right. So we talked about the strap. There's our jibbitz holes, Croc logo on the rivet. We talked about our midsole. We talked about our heel cup. I don't know if I can get really a good view of the footbed on it, but it's probably akin to the classic. I think these are a very classic footbed about them. Here, let's see if I can get the lighting in there. I think these have a classic footbed to them. They just have a different upper. So they're probably just using like a standard modified mold for the footbed that has a little higher of a heel cup to it. And then it's just, they're just mold injecting the lower, and then they're probably gluing this upper on. It might be stitched and glued. I can't tell. So we've got some stitching lines here, but that just might be keeping the, yeah, it's glued. You can see right here, we've got a little bit of glue coming through. So I'm guessing the stitching is just keeping the layers of the textile strapped together, because you can see we've got a couple layers of that, of the textile upper, not the textile strap. You can see some glue in there too, where they got glue on the fabric, where it's a little darker. Let's see if I can show that. Back there, where it gets a little darker, just above that, the edge of the cross light, it's a little darker. That's glue getting onto the fabric and staining it. So these are glued. The upper is glued on, which isn't a terrible thing. I haven't had any issues with Crocs glue coming undone, but I know some people live in very humid climates where glue does not hold up. We've got a little stitching right there too. But yeah, that doesn't line up with the cross light right there. We got a little bit of glue on the right there on the edge too. So the upper is definitely glued on. So the bottom is the mold injected cross light, and then this textile upper is made to fit and glued on. And we've got a couple layers within that textile upper. It's kind of padded on the bottom. We've got a little bit of padding here. And then the upper, the top layer of it seems to be more of a canvas. But it's got a little rigidity to it within that top part, because the bottom part is all, it's very malleable and padded, but that top part has a little bit of a rigidity to it. It's a little starchy, which is nice because that maintains its form. That way it's not collapsing on foot. So pretty good, pretty cool. I'm digging them. All right, I think that's everything in hand. So before we throw them on foot, I want to compare them to the Museum of Peace and Quiet clogs. I have them right here. These are one of the few like older collabs that I was able to acquire. These and the running shoe or the running vest clogs. So these are a little more premium. They've got a few other components to them that these crafted clogs do not. So I think these are still a little nicer than the crafted. We can leave that in, I guess. We're just gonna take a quick look at them and show the differences and the similarities. Okay. So, does this go up any higher? Why does this feel like it's so short? Oh, because it does go up higher. I was missing a whole section of the telescopic selfie stick. All right, so as you can see, we've got some similar vibes going between these two. These are a little bigger, kind of. Not really, they're size the same. I am mistaken, but all right. So first thing that's noticeably different is we have an anti-slip outsole. Inlays in the Museum of Peace and Quiet, which makes these a little more premium. That's something we don't have on the Crosslight, though we do have that kind of that fabric spray, that fuzzy spray on the Crafted, but on the Museum of Peace and Quiet, we have the non-slip rubber inlay outsole. Okay, so you can see our fabric, our textile upper comes down a little lower, It's covering the toe on the Museum of Peace and Quiet, where the toe is still cross-light on the Crafted, and the textile doesn't start until the top of the upper right here, after the toe. So that is different between them. So it's covering our faux drainage holes. We do not have that in the Museum of Peace and Quiet, so these are even a little more low-key. Croc Clog, they don't have, they're missing that identifiable feature, the faux holes there. We have more of a ripstop on the Museum of Peace and Quiet, where we just have kind of a smooth canvas on the Crafted, which is kind of nice. So they implicated or implied that you could like decorate these with markers and stuff. You could draw on them. So having a smoother surface would make that a little better of a canvas for drawing on. Maybe I should paint on these. That would be kind of nice. I could do a little oil painting on the top of them. Maybe. If they go on sale in the future, I'll grab the black sand and we will do a painting on them. That would be really cool. That'd be a good video. I haven't done an art video in a while. So you can see the ripstop on these, which I think is a little bit nicer, but it's not as inviting to paint. So then we've got there's our Museum of Peace and Quiet logo on the rivet there, but you also notice we've got metal hardware for our strap, which is a little more premium. We've just got the cross-light rivet on these. And then we have more of like an all-terrain style backstrap, to where it's an adjustable canvas strap with the hook and loop and cross-light tab on the end, and then cross-light backstrap to it. And it's wider like the all-terrain strap, where on these Crafted Clogs they're a little more cost-effective, you could say, on their strap, where it just has the traditional cross-light rivet strap. We've got their jibbitz holes right there, and then we have a canvas Crocs logo kind of patch on the back versus the wider all cross-light backstrap. So a couple differences there. So I believe, you know, honestly, I think I paid like $75, $80 for these on StockX. I think they were probably closer to $100 after shipping and everything, but these are retailing for, I think, $60, so the price point isn't terribly different between them. A little bit, but they're kind of relative. So the main difference between the two of these, and we will pull this out just to make that point clear, is these are basically a classic Croc. As far as the upper goes, you can see it is all cross-light. If you look very closely, you can even see the jibbitz holes in the top of the upper there. So they have basically just taken a classic clog, added the inlay, the non-slip inlay, added the fancy strap and hardware, and then the ripstop over top. So these Crafted, they did away with that. They just did the bottom with the textile strap, like independent. It is not like, it doesn't have the cross-light upper that is then wrapped. It is its own entirely textile upper. So, all right, I think we've spent enough time comparing these. Let me put these back. Let me go get a drink of water real quick. I'm getting a little flushed. All right, I am back. I got sidetracked there for a minute. So let's throw these on foot. I don't have any socks on, so we're just gonna go straight to barefoot. So the sizing looked relative compared to the Museum of Peace and Quiet. I've got a pair of 12 Crocs around here somewhere. Not my resized 13s. Where are those bone ones, the painted ones? Here, these ones. We'll see if they're relative to the classic insides. Yeah, they look identical. Maybe a little bit bigger. Because that's one thing I noticed about those Museum of Peace and Quiet is they were a touch larger than my classic Crocs. So these are about a 1/2 inch larger, which is good. So we'll see how they fit on foot. So you might, depending on how you like your classics to fit, you might want to go down to an 11. Here, we'll put those on side by side initially and see how they compare. So the classic 12s kind of fit like perfect for me. But my toes are kind of right at the end. So these might have a little more toe space in them, which is never a bad thing. And they kind of do. I've got a little more, and that's probably a good thing, not having our ventilation holes, our drainage holes on the side. So with it being a little more roomy in the toe box, it allows for a little more air to get in. They're not so tight, but yeah. All right, so we can kind of do a little bit of a comparison on foot, just next to the classics. Here, let's get the camera down a little more. So it does feel a little stiffer on top with these crafted clogs having that textile upper than just the standard Crosslight, because that has no issue flexing. Neither do these, but it's a little stiffer. So I imagine they'll break in once you wear them. It's probably going to crease though, because you can see where it's folding right here. I'm probably going to get some creases in the canvas right there. It's like twisting as it folds there. And then, yeah. I was just going to say having a little more room in the toe box. The strap is a little looser, but I also have these on barefoot. Mainly, let me throw a sock on one foot just so we can get both comparisons. I think that's all I needed to compare with the classics in the 12s. So the sizing is they're about a half size up, I would say, over your standard classic sizing, which for me is perfect, because the 12s are good, but the reason I wear my resized 13s is because those are a little better. They're just a little bigger than the classic 12s. So I'm getting that same fit with these that I do my resized 13s. Like these, I had shrunk down. They're actually a size 13. It's a little dirty, but you can see the sizing there. So these are more relative in sizing to those shrunken 13s, which I like. I like that a lot. These might be my new favorite Croc. I think they're good for the changing of the season too, because they already feel a little warmer. Not having our ventilation holes, our drainage holes on the side, and not even having gibbet holes in the top. These are a little warmer. So these are probably going to be like a nice cooler weather Croc. So they're still probably going to breathe having the textile upper, but not having those gibbet holes or the water drainage holes in the sides and top. These are probably going to be a little warmer, especially with a pair of socks on. Let me grab a sock real quick and then we will walk in them. Hang on one moment. All right, I just walking in them to go get this sock. I was just my focus went on the ergos of the footbed, and they feel identical to the classic. The heel feels a little, slightly a little more pronounced. That's why I threw those classics back on, just to compare them real quick. But it's close enough that I would argue that aside from the heel cup being a little deeper, and maybe an extra 1/8 of an inch of material under the heel, it almost has a little more of a Baya feel to it. I recall the Bayas being a little flatter towards the forefoot, but just having a little more material under heel. I'm kind of getting that impression a little bit with these crafted. Not so much as the more material under the forefoot, but just a little more material under the heel. because I'm also getting a little less of a arch support with these than the classics, and I think it's because of the difference in the heel. Because with Crocs, as the heel rises up, they seldom add more for the arch support. So it kind of, as the heel gets higher, the arch gets a little weaker. So, and that's very, very slightly noticeable in these. It's not a deal breaker by any means, because I'm sure my foot will form and shrink into these. But I'm digging these. These are going to be my fall, autumn clog. I think I'm going to start wearing these, and it's kind of crappy out today. I might wear them today too, but it's rainy. I don't know if I want to get them wet at all just yet. I'm starting to work on my top 5 foam shoe video. So we're gonna go take Bing Shilling for a walk today. And probably I need to do a section for the Rejuvenate shoe, but also the cane. I wanted to do a little walk section for the cane. So I plan on doing just walk sections for my top 5 foam shoe video, instead of having them all on a pedestal and going through them like I did my top 5 slide. I'm gonna do little sections with the top 5 foam shoes. But I digress. So these are very classic walking characteristic to them, with the exception of that heel being ever so slightly higher, maybe literally maybe 1/10 of an inch higher, maybe 1/8 of an inch higher. But other than that, these feel like classics underfoot. They are a little warmer though, I'm noticing. Not having all those ventilation holes and stuff. They're a little warmer. So they're very minimal in their look too, just from top down. Just having that textile upper, like completely textile with no holes. They have a very minimal look about them, which I kind of dig. They're kind of nice. So these will do well with like some good minimal styling. So the walking impression is very reminiscent of the classics. I would say more like the Bayas than the classics though. A little more of like a Baya footbed to them. Which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Bayas are okay. I think those are probably, they're like, next to the classic, I have a feeling people buy the Bayas second. Just thinking about that video, my comparison between the Crocs Classic, the Baya, and the Baya Band, which I think has become my most viewed video now, which is kind of nice. It passed the Rejuvenate shoe video. I get lots of comments on that video, and a lot of people decide to buy the Bayas over the classics. So, but yeah, these are good. Let's get some download footage. All right. I think they look good. But you can see, like I mentioned before, that heel strap is just a little short on me. I kind of got to pull my foot back a little bit in order to lock into it pretty well. So these do have a little bit of a sizing difference between the classics. So that's not bad, because I don't like it when the heel strap pulls my foot forward. So I imagine they will kind of tighten down on foot. If not, I can hit it with a hairdryer and shrink that back strap up if needed. But yeah, the more I walk in them, the more they've got a Baya feel to them. So I'm curious, I'm wondering if they took like the Baya lower and worked with that, and then added this textile upper. That's what it feels like. So I'm digging these though. I'm digging them. I don't really have any complaints about them. I think they're good for how they're designed. Like, I could criticize them for not having the water ventilations on the side, but it's just a design decision by them just being faux and not being milled out. So it isn't necessarily a negative or a detractor, it's just a factor of the design. So if you really wanted to, you could cut those out. You know, it's just cross-light. If you needed some extra ventilation, you could cut them out. But I think they're fine. I kind of like them being different and being designed how they are, because it allows them to be more practical for a little cooler temperatures, because they are a little warmer. My toes are a little more warm in them. So these might actually be like a good winter Croc option. So maybe we'll when it's a little colder out, we can do a comparison between these and the puff clog, which I'm actually kind of excited to wear again. These are one of my favorite Crocs. These are great. The puffed line Croc. So I'm kind of excited to wear these again for the winter. Those are my favorite winter Croc right there. And whenever I do like a top Croc clog video, those are going to be in them. Those will be in the vid. So I think I've covered everything and then some that I need to say about these crafted clogs. I'll have to trim this down. It's probably a little longer than it needs to be. So yeah, these are good. I recommend them. I'm digging these. I'm excited to wear these this autumn. These are gonna be my autumn Croc. They look good. They feel good. I like what they're doing with these. They're a little different. High five, Crocs. Good job. Another solid model. Way to go. Nice work. All right, I think that's all we need to say about these. Let me flip this so you don't have to look at my armpit. All right, the Crocs Crafted Clog. I need a haircut. My hair is getting long. I used to have long hair in high school. Very long, like down to here long. Imagine that. But that was a little while ago. So, all right, the Crocs Crafted Clog. These are pretty good. I like their design. I like what they're doing with these. These kind of exceeded my expectations. I wasn't sure what to expect with these. I just had more of a Museum of Peace and Quiet vibe about them when I ordered them. I thought they were just going to be relative to those. But they're doing some different things with these. Just having the completely textile upper, having it padded. It's a little more insulated. They're a little warmer. Not having the water drainage holes on the sides. Again, it helps retain the heat. These are a little toasty. I'm feeling them kind of really kind of keeping the heat trapped in. So these are something to keep in mind if you're getting these for like a summer clog. These are a little warmer. These are more of like a cooler weather Croc. So they'll be a good like autumn, cool weather, even spring clog if you're looking at something for those months in that application of wear. So I like that. I like that they're doing something different with these and they kind of fit a different niche. So all right, I think that's all we have to say. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave your thoughts and comments below on the Crocs Crafted Clog. If there's any models that you are aware of that I haven't covered yet, feel free to leave that below. I'm kind of taking some more requests again. I wasn't really for a little while. My finances weren't really allowing it, but I think I've got a little more wiggle room again for some requests. So feel free to leave those below. And yeah, like I mentioned, I'm working on my top 5 foam shoe video, so keep an eye out for that in the future. I'll maybe try to get that uploaded this weekend, so that might come sooner than later. But yeah, I think that's everything. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Cheers.